नमस्कार। आज जो आवाज आप सुनेंगे, जिस आवाज को आप आज सुनने जा रहे हैं, वो सिर्फ किसी एक व्यक्ति की आवाज नहीं है। वो आवाज हमारे जो सभ्यता के गांव है, वो उन गांवों से, उन उन सिविलाइजेशनल वुंड्स से निकलने वाली आवाज है। वो आवाज, उस आवाज का एक नाम है। और आज मैं जिन्हें वेलकम करने जा रहा हूं अपने शो पे, ही इज हिज नेम is synonymous with the leadership of the North American Kashmiri Pandit diaspora. It gives me great privilege, great honor to welcome on today's show the episode 6 of the rallying point of this Kashmiri Pandit Jatividhvans month 2026. One and only Shri Vidya Bhushan Dhar. Vidya Bhushan Dhar is not just an activist. Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, Himalay.
Vidya Bhushan Dhar is not just an activist. He is a representative of the struggle, of the relentless pursuit of justice that the entire Kashmiri Pandit diaspora has been going through from last 3 decades here. And Vidya Bhushan Dhar साहब डायरेक्टर भी हैं ICKF, which is Indo-Canadian Kashmir Forum. He is not just any ordinary community activist. When any member of the Kashmiri Pandit community comes to joins diaspora here in North America, the first name, honestly, believe me, that echoes in his ears is Shri Vidya Bhushan Dhar Sahab, because he has dedicated, devoted his life to the service of Kashmiri Pandit diaspora here in North America. चाहे कोई हमारा कश्मीरी पंडित यंगस्टर जो यहाँ पे स्टडीज के लिए आता है, उसकी हेल्प करना, उसको गाइड करना, किस कॉलेजेस में जाना, कहाँ पे रहना, किन कॉन्टेक्ट्स से मिलना, या इफ इट्स somebody who is looking for a job. So I think I honestly today am failing short of words. I'm running short of words, in my introduction for uh, one and only Shri Vidya Bhushan Dhar. And apart from him being the leader of the Kashmiri Pandit diaspora, he is also a great poet. His poetry speaks for himself. और जब आप इनकी पोइट्री पढ़ते हैं, जब आप इनका लिटरेचर इन एग्जाइल पढ़ते हैं, तो ऐसा लगता है जो हमारे उजड़े हुए घर हैं, शायद वो बोल रहे हैं। ये हमारे धर साहब नहीं बोल रहे हैं, ये वो घर, ये वो टूटे हुए मंदिर, ये हमारे वो जो एंसेस्टर्स है, उनकी चीखें बोल रही हैं। तो विद्या सर, नमस्कार and welcome again to this show. And I think, sir, let me start this episode, which is truly and rightly the role of diaspora. It is actually the role of Kashmiri Pandit diaspora. And before I kick off this conversation with you, sir, I want to start this entire conversation discourse with memory and the moment of rupture. And, as someone who lived through the genocide and exile of 1990, my first question to you, sir, is how did the Kashmiri Pandit diaspora, particularly in North America, that means Canada, to United States, Mexico, initially respond to the sudden loss of our beloved homeland? Our, like 1990 May, when this all hell broke loose. So I think and you're the right person who will put it into the perfect perspective. How did the Kashmiri Pandit diaspora react to this tragedy, reacted to this genocide of 1990?
Himalay, thank you so much. First of all, I want to basically thank you and your whole team for giving me this opportunity to be on this August platform. You are too. I'm humbled basically with the kind of introduction. I don't think I deserve any of those accolades. I'm just a small, what we call foot soldier of the community. Before I start answering your questions, I want to basically tell you that I speak today not only as a Kashmiri Pandit in exile,
Mhm.
but as a witness to a civilizational rupture that began in 1990 and continues unresolved till date. Ours is a community that was violently displaced, then quietly forgotten. We rebuild lives across continents and countries, but never abandoned memory, our dignity, or the idea of return. Himalaya understand the fact that, like the Jewish people who carried Jerusalem in their prayers across centuries of exile, we carried Kashmir in our language, our rituals, our literature, and consciousness. Exile taught us survival, and memory taught us responsibility. It has been nearly 36, 37 years. The diaspora has worked not for sympathy, but for truth, justice, and restoration through advocacy, through culture, through literature, and humanitarian services. Now, this conversation is not about the past alone, it's about whether a democracy can correct a historical injustice.
Right.
Remembering is not revenge, justice not hatred, and return is not nostalgia, it is dignity.
Absolutely.
Before I begin, I would like to basically remember and pay obeisance to our East Devi, Mata Sharda of Kashmir.
Mhm.
Namaste Sharde Devi Kashmir Purivasini, Tava Maham Prarthana Nityam, Vidadhanam Dehi Me. 19 January is just a few days away. And when you remember that horrible night, it gives me goosebumps even after 36, 37 years.
Absolutely, sir.
Jatividhvans, which you are basically, remembering,
Mhm.
we should not basically stop even for a moment to tell the world what happened to us. So before I answer your questions, I would like to recite a poem which I wrote many, many years ago,
Sure, sir.
depicting and creating pictures what happened that night.
Yeah,
And the
please.
title of my poem is or kavita is 19 January 1990.
Mhm.
उस भयानक रात को मैं हजारों मील दूर था,
Mhm.
धधकती आग से उस दौस भरे माहौल से दूर था, पर जब आती है याद बाइग्रस बहन की आवाज फोन पर, तो मैं समझ न सका था क्या था वो राज। उसने फोन पर मुझे कर्कश आवाजें सुनाई, हजारों लाउड स्पीकरों से जो आ रही थी सुझाई, जो लगे थे मस्जिदों की मीनारों पर, एक नहीं हजारों पर। वो गरज रहे थे, बरस रहे थे, पुकार रहे थे, ए दीन वालो घर से निकलो, आओ सड़कों पर जिहाद का वक्त है, ए मत वालो, बाहर करो इन काफिरों को कि यहां बनेगा पाकिस्तान, पंडितों के बिना उनकी बहु बेटियों के साथ हम रहेंगे अपना सीना तान। मैंने अपने आंख मैंने अपने कानों में उंगलियां ठूस ली उन आवाजों से बचने के लिए। मैं कांप रहा था, सारा वजूद लगा था लरजने, धार्मिक कट्टरपंथी की वे नंगा नाच मुझे लगा था डसने। उस विस्तर ने ऐसा फन फैलाया, भयानक वो रात इतनी लंबी कि घर से बेघर हो गए लाखों मेरे दरवाल में। कहते हैं उस रात का काला साया अभी भी विचरता है सूनी वादी में, ढूंढता है उनको जिनका हाथ था इस बर्बादी में। उस रात की कर्कश आवाजें वैशी कह के गूंजते हैं हर दिशा में, काली कालिमाली ये कट्टरवाद आज भी जिंदा है हर बोर हर निशा में।
This truly depicts the intensity of everybody's pain, sir. Everybody's pain.
So regarding your first question, Himalay,
Mhm. Yeah.
memory and moment of rupture in 1990.
Right.
1990 was not a migration, as the so-called cabal, the Western media said. It was actually a civilizational rupture.
Absolutely.
Overnight, a peaceful, rooted community was told that it no longer belonged to their ancestral fatherland.
Mhm.
We fled under explicit threats,
Mhm.
institutional collapse, and complete loss of protection from the state.
Absolutely.
Our homes, our temples, our neighborhoods, and social trust, it all collapsed at once. What followed was not just loss of property, but loss of protection by the state and faith in the so called Kashmiriyat, the faith of coexistence.
Mhm.
For us, exile began with shock and disbelief, followed by silence. The world remained silent
Yeah.
while we bled. We didn't leave Kashmir beyond this. We did not leave Kashmir. Kashmir was taken away from us.
Well said.
What followed was worse than displacement. It was denial.
It was. Yeah.
The world remained silent. The world reframed genocide as conflict and exile as migration.
Absolutely.
The basic understanding, the basic meaning of migration is when somebody leaves
Hmm.
with his own will
Yeah,
and for the betterment.
absolutely.
We neither left due to our own will or
And not
neither
for,
for our betterment. So it
absolutely,
was not migration.
absolutely.
Like the Jews after the destruction of the second temple,
Hmm.
we entered exile not knowing when to return and when return was possible or when it would be possible,
Hmm.
but knowing memory must survive. Exile does not begin when you leave home, it begins when the world refuses to acknowledge why you left. The
Absolutely,
silence, that particular silence, Himalay, shaped the diaspora's moral journey. That's what I have to say.
absolutely. That's right. And I think you have chosen the best words to narrate what exactly how, and we are so proud of our Kashmiri Pandit diaspora. And sir, why I feel so proud of this Kashmiri Pandit diaspora, uh, not just in North America but across the globe, is because the way we, were in sync with the pain, the suffering of our brothers in camps. This is remarkable. I mean, this is so remarkable. So,
Himalay, before you move to the second question, I like to say something here
sure,
again.
please go ahead, sir. Please go
A lot of people are basically, when we talk about
ahead. Mhm.
the Islamic fundamentalism,
Right.
the Islamic terrorism,
Mhm.
people say that they are subjugated to atrocities or injustice.
Correct.
500,000 diaspora of Kashmiri Pandits was forcibly evicted from Kashmir. We were given three choices, which everybody knows about it.
Relut Salute.
Relieve, relieve, relieve.
Uh-huh.
So we had 500,000 reasons to raise guns, pick up guns. We had 500,000 reasons to take an eye for an eye.
Mhm.
But that's not our karma. That's not our dharma. That's not our sanatan.
Absolutely.
We moved. We picked up pen instead of gun.
Absolutely.
The vested forces who tried to bury us deep
Mhm.
forgot the fact that we are seeds. We erupted again. We are like phoenix. We
Absolutely.
rose from our own ashes.
Ashes. Absolutely.
In last 50 years, in last 37 years, Kashmiri Pandit diaspora has given across the world
Mhm.
close to 50 to 70,000 professionals to the world. Engineers, doctors, lawyers, activists, scientists, vice chancellors, educationists, professors to make this world a better place to live in. We had the reason, we had all the justification to pick up gun and avenge our exodus. But
Absolutely.
we chose otherwise because we believe in Vasudev Kutumbakam. We believe in coexistence. Next question, please.
Absolutely. Wonderfully said, and rightly chosen words for that. We never responded to those bullets, to that gun. We instead pick up the ink and the pen. So that did the talking for us. And sir, moving on to the second question is, because we are specifically focused on diaspora, Kashmiri Pandit diaspora today. So how has, because you have been the, the front leader of this diaspora in North America, so how has this carrying this pain across the continents been? So how did the Kashmiri Pandit diaspora, I mean, basically process the pain of genocide, exile, humiliation while being physically distant from Kashmir? So, what forms, I mean, what exact forms did grief, resistance, and remembrance take for this community outside of the India?
Himalaya, remember one thing: the distance did not dilute our pain;
Mhm.
it preserved it. In North America, we rebuilt materially.
Mhm.
Most of us, I mean, since we produce so many professionals across the world, particularly in the IT field, we
Absolutely.
are all settled mundanely.
Mhm.
We rebuilt materially, but emotionally, we lived suspended between survival and memory.
Mhm.
Our homes became repositories of culture, language, rituals, stories, food, and grief.
Absolutely.
Like the Jewish diaspora that kept Jerusalem alive in prayers for centuries, we kept Kashmir alive through remembrance, through our rituals, through Gardabat, through Khichmawas, through Mahashivratri, through small things. Our children who were born abroad inherited stories about our geography. The pain traveled quietly but consistently across generations. Our diaspora is not about geography. It's about carrying an unresolved wound without closure. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. And before I move to the next question, Darsab, the kids and the generation that has that was born, the Kashmiri Pandit generation that was born here outside of India. What one thing that I would like to basically explicitly say from this platform is we are so proud of this generation, because when I came here and I saw कि मैं दर साहब आपसे ही मिला था, तो और मैंने आपसे पूछा था कि हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल कि यम येतिक शुर्श दे स्पीक मोर फ्लुएंट कश्मीरी than probably the kids in India right now. And you said a very wonderful thing that diaspora, you know, made sure that when those kids come home, तो जैसे वो अपने जूते निकालते हैं उसके साथ वो अपनी अंग्रेजी जबान भी निकालते हैं, और इतनी तुम घर ससन they would speak in Kashmiri. So this is the kind, and when, because you just mentioned the Jews and the way they survived that Hebrew language, so I think we are not any remarkably lesser than them, and this credit goes to the Kashmiri Pand diaspora for keeping our culture and our language alive. And sir, before I move on, because you are a poet and you just recited uh, the so painful poetry, encompassing whole of 19 January. So how has this poetry been, you know as a mark of witness and resistance? Because your poetry and writings, because I have myself read so many of your poems, so your poetry and writings capture the pain of exile, and with I would say with great depth. So do you see creative expression as a form of resistance as well? And this historical testimony when political justice is denied to all of us.
Himalay, we all know that pen is mightier than sword.
Absolutely.
Bankim Chandra Chatterjee wrote Vande Mataram
Mhm.
150 years ago. It
Absolutely.
still puts goosebumps when we
Yeah.
recite it.
Bilkul.
For Kashmiri Pandits, literature was not luxury. It
Mhm.
was resistance and record.
Yeah, it was.
When courts, when media, international institutions,
Mhm.
they all failed us. Our own media, our own so-called the civil society,
Civil society.
our politicians,
Yeah,
our leadership, they all failed us.
absolutely.
Writers became archivists of truth.
Mhm.
Through poetry, through essays, through short stories, memoirs, books, oral history, we ensured our experience could not be erased. I have actively promoted Kashmiri literature through platforms like Hindi Writers Guild in Canada
Mhm. In Canada, yes.
and many other literary
Different.
forms. I recently gave a presentation on Lalded,
Okay, nice to know that.
creating space for voices which
Mhm.
were shaped by our exile.
Mhm.
Sometimes a small word which is written can give thoughts too deep for tears. I remember in early 90s, Maharaj Krishan Bharat, one of our noted
Mhm.
poets, he
Poets, yeah.
wrote a poem called Firan Mein Chupaye Tiranga.
Hmm.
This one line is not just one line.
Oh no, it speaks volumes.
It speaks volumes. It creates
Absolutely.
pictures.
Mhm.
It creates picture in words showing how we left our homeland, our Kashmir, our ancestral land, but we had that Bharat Bhakti, Bharat Mata ka prem, Hubal Watani जिसको हम कहते हैं,
Mhm.
देश प्रेम.
Desh Prem.
We left Kashmir empty-handed, but
Absolutely.
we had that Tiranga
With
in our
us.
Farran. We could not show it outrightly
Mhm.
because we had vested forces, looking at us. They could
Mhm.
have basically taken it away and in humiliated it. But that one line became the mantra for Kashmiri Pandits. So all I will say that just as Jewish literature after the Holocaust preserved memory against denial, our literature ensured history would not be rewritten.
Mhm.
When institutions failed, words become evidence.
Absolutely. Absolutely, sir. And secondly, I mean, the way you put it, like, this entire Kashmiri Pandit diaspora, they, at times I have been in conversations in India where still people say that Kashmiri Pandit diaspora could have done more. But one thing is, we always underestimate that role. So before I move on to the next question, because there are some very important points that I would like to raise here, is Kashmiri Pandit diaspora in its, I mean, capacity has not done anything lesser that what we have done back home. So that is, and I, when I myself became the part of the diaspora, I understood that no, we have equally kept this pain alive, and we have
You see, Himalay's survival was important.
Correct, correct.
Yele zinda rozo teli hako is kah kaam karit.
Absolutely.
So we had to basically survive first,
Mhm.
then achieve mundane success, financial success. Only then basically we can basically, go to the next level and beyond.
Absolutely. And I would also like to request, because a lot of people, viewers are glued to the screen right now. If you want to ask any question directly to Shri Vidyaji, please post it here, and I will just take up whenever he's free. And I would not like to interrupt his flow, but whenever I find time in between, I'll just pick up that question and I'll ask directly to Vidyaji. So Vidyaji, moving on to the next question. क्या is this Panun Kashmir the only solution even after 36 years of our genocide, that the seventh wave of genocide in 1990, and many suggest half measures, symbolic reconciliation, or reintegration from decades of activism, of your activism. Why do you believe Panun Kashmir is not just an option, but the only viable, dignified, and sustainable solution for Kashmiri Pandits?
Himalaya, we have to understand the geopolitics behind it.
Right.
Many governments in the past and present are talking about rehabilitation of Kashmiri Pandits back in the valley,
Absolutely.
Garwapsi.
Mhm.
Congress regime was forcing or proposing us that we go back to where we basically left.
Well, absolutely.
We don't want to be sitting ducks.
Right.
Kashmir is, I was in Kashmir last year. It's not the same Kashmir which I
Anymore.
visited after 35, 36 years. It's not the same Kashmir I left.
Mhm.
It's become basically one of those Islamic hinterlands. It's,
Absolutely.
it's like walking through the bazaars of Afghanistan or Pakistan.
Correct.
So it's not the same place where we will feel safe to go back.
Mhm.
That's one part of it. The thing.
Right.
The other part is that history is basically one of the biggest teachers of mankind.
Very well
We
said.
know the story of Prithviraj Chauhan, who basically forgave Muhammad Ghori 17 or 16 times, and
Sit
yet,
up. Yeah.
and when eventually Ghori was successful in defeating Chauhan,
Chauhan. Yeah.
what he did. So
Absolutely.
enough of basically being forgiveful.
Forgive. Yeah.
Enough of basically living in that fool's paradise that we will be able to basically turn around things again.
Mhm.
Enough is enough. We don't
Absolutely.
want to go back. We don't trust the people back in the valley.
Mhm.
It's basically there might be some good people, but the majority of them are basically still with that radical mindset.
Mhm.
Yele dinuk tam sinas
Yes.
pachapawan. Things changed drastically.
Absolutely.
Individually, people might be very good, but
Mhm.
when they come in a hujum, they become a mob,
Mob
and
amongst.
mob has no values, mob has no culture, and mob has no principles.
Absolutely.
So personally, what I believe is that we don't want to go back to where we left.
Mhm.
So the only viable solution is Panu Kashmir, which is basically our Kashmir, which
Mhm.
is under constitutional system,
Mhm.
legally. So history is clear. Displaced people heal only through secure, dignified return.
Correct.
Jews did not find closure through sympathy.
Mhm.
They rebuilt a homeland.
Absolutely.
Panu Kashmir is not revenge or separatism. It is a constitutional democratic demand rooted in safety, justice, and restoration.
Absolutely.
Decades as a refugee have shown that compensation without land is hollow. It's mere words. A people without territory cannot heal,
Mhm.
only survive. Return is not about nostalgia. It is a
Absolutely.
civilizational continuity restored.
Mhm.
Our kids, they inherited geography.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm saying the other way around. Our kids inherited history.
Yeah.
We want to give them the geography.
Absolutely.
That's what I want to basically tell
Absolutely.
about Panu
Absolutely.
Kashmir.
And before I basically take you to the other important aspects of today's discourse, to today's agenda, that how diaspora has contributed towards creating this awareness of Kashmiri Pandit genocide. Sir, ak sawal chuna ye thi ki toy wono ki I don't want to go back to that Kashmir from where I had to live for my dignity, for my for my survival and all that stuff you said. This is basically on the perpetrators. This is not on us. We have already in the past reconciled with them 6 times, and this is the seventh. This was
Exactly.
so matlab basically chuki the core objective is core guarantee chuki they will not repeat it. Yeah, this non-refoulement Shivanan. And you just said ki you were there last year and you felt like you were moving through the lanes of Taliban or something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
you shouldn't it is not
My
any.
my mindset has changed. I
Mhm,
mean, there was what we call the so-called Ganga Jamni Tehzeeb, which
mhm,
in Kashmir,
mhm,
outside Kashmir, I will not say it was never there. It was just basically some kind of a churn which was basically
mhm,
fed to the masses.
mhm,
But Kashmir, we still had people. I went there, like the tears were genuine, the hugs were warm.
mhm,
When I met people from my own mohalla,
mhm,
I even visited my house, which is occupied now, basically.
mhm.
I could see the genuine love and respect, but that's all individual.
It's a danger.
When it gets engulfed with the religious extremism,
It becomes toxic.
it washes away.
Absolutely.
So we don't want to do the same mistake again.
Mhm,
Government of India has to take cognizance of the fact that we have in history we have basically reconciled 6 times and without any
mhm. Yeah,
concrete results. So
absolutely.
enough is enough. Timruzin Panas Kosh, Ashidin Kosh Rose. That's again, we are still believing in live and let live. We don't want to
Yeah.
take away anything from them,
Mhm.
but we want to basically live peacefully ourselves.
Absolutely. So our own political aspirations. So, sir, one more important point that I would like to raise here: कि Panun Kashmir you see movement ruled 36 years. How this basically also shaped the political awareness amongst the Kashmiri Pandits abroad, especially when global narratives were hostile, they were indifferent towards us. So, because you are somebody who has been the very senior voice, very senior leader of Panun Kashmir, also when I recollect of the Kashmiri Pandit diaspora of 90s. So, तोय क्या शुभ आसान कि how has this Panun Kashmir movement also basically shaped the political awareness of Kashmiri Pandits diaspora as well?
Himalaya, first of all, we were very far away.
Yeah.
I left India in 1992.
Okay.
And I remember the first Balidan, there was remembrance which was done by Panun Kashmir, and they came all the way to Anandpur Sahib.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
yearned, I wish I
yeah,
was part of
that.
that contingent which basically went to Anandpur Sahib.
Mhm,
But I made a resolve with myself that
mhm,
whenever I'm basically in a position to pay obeisance to the great leader,
mhm.
I did it. I did it
Won-
in Canada,
Wonderful.
and recently 350th anniversary of the
Guru
the,
Tegh.
the martyrdom of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was celebrated here.
Mhm,
I was part of it. Panu Kashmir has functioned as the moral compass of the diaspora.
mhm,
It kept clarity when narratives tried to blur genocide into conflict
mhm,
and the stories of migration. It educated youth, countered denial, and anchored memories in fact.
mhm.
Without Panu Kashmir, our struggle would have dissolved into nostalgia instead of justice. So
Very
all I
well.
would say that it anchored memory in facts and educated youth born abroad. That's what
Absolutely.
Panu Kashmir has done.
Well said. Well said, sir. Well said. And moving on to one more very important aspect of our genocide that we have collectively faced, not from last 36 years, but from exactly relentlessly, we have been facing this from 70 decades, 700 years. So I would like to talk about that silence, the denial, and the global stage. I mean, for decades, the genocide of Kashmiri Pandits has been ignored or denied intentionally. What role specifically did the Kashmiri Pandit diaspora play in breaking that silence? And where do you think we still have that window of improvement?
See, for decades, our genocide was ignored intentionally by the vested forces.
Mhm,
The diaspora changed that through documentation, through advocacy, through testimonials, and persistence, and through films like Kashmir Files, an
mhm,
idea which was born in a casual drawing room setting between the founders of Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora and noted filmmaker
mhm.
Vivek Agnihotri ji.
Okay.
We had to wait for 3 decades for a person to be our Kalan Pandit to narrate the story of our genocide.
Mhm.
I will say that was one of the biggest contribution of the diaspora abroad.
Absolutely.
Now that wait has, you know, come to a conclusion. For the last 35, 36 years, due to survival,
Mhm.
our children had to basically focus on the STEM education.
Correct.
So we lost the storytellers among us.
Mhm.
If you see traditionally, we come from a land of Bharat Muni, Natya
True.
Shastra. We come from a land of Panini. We come from a land of Abhinavgupta. We come from a land of Mammat, Ruya, Kalhan. So we
Absolutely.
had to wait for somebody like Kalhan to
Mhm.
tell the world our story. And I rest, fold my hands in front of Vivek Ranjan Agnihotri, who became our modern Kalan Pandit. And I have written a poem about that also, that, Vivek, tum Kalan ho hamare, aaj ke itihas ke.
Wonderful.
Now our own boys and girls, which I was talking about,
Mhm.
our own storytellers like Adit Rajkol, Aditya
Mhm.
Dhar, Artiti Kusing,
Mhm.
Sunanda Vashisht, Himalay Sumli, Basha Sumli,
Mhm.
and there are so many of them,
Yes.
our new generation, who
Mhm.
have become our storytellers, creating context like Durandar, creating context like Baramulla, creating context like Kashmir Files, which tell the world what happened to Kashmiri Pandits in 1990. Now we don't make cinema, we make a statement which results in severe meltdown of the cabal responsible for our genocide. We force our story into academic policy, into media spaces. Himalay's silence was not accidental, it was engineered. And the diaspora challenged it by refusing to disappear quietly.
Well said, sir.
So
Well.
even today,
Mhm.
we make sure that our story is told and retold.
Told and retold. Absolutely.
Jewish people are my biggest inspiration.
Mhm.
My very dear friend Daniel Boardman, who has become the poster boy of Jewish resistance for Indian diaspora and
Indian
in
nice.
Indians abroad. I mean,
Absolutely.
those people are my idol.
Mhm. Correct.
We need to take a leaf out of their book. They thought about homecoming for
Mhm.
2000 long years. Do you
Absolutely.
know they have a ritual when a young Jewish boy and a girl get married?
Mhm.
They remember all those people who sacrificed their lives for the homeland.
All those people. Yeah. Absolutely. I know this.
We should
Wonderful.
also do something like that.
Absolutely.
Whenever there is
Mhm.
a ritual,
Mhm.
a marriage like ritual, we should basically first bow our head
Mhm.
to those ancestors.
Absolutely.
You see,
Absolutely.
current Kashmiri Muslim was one of our ancestors who was scared of death.
Mhm.
But we should basically remember those who preferred death or who preferred some other means to survive and
Mhm.
still remain Hindu. So we should always remember them.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
one of the proposals
Mhm.
for the diaspora
Mhm.
I have in my mind is my dream. Basically, my
Mhm.
initial dream was to make a film on Kashmiri
Pandit genocide.
exodus and Pandit
Yeah.
genocide,
Yeah.
which is basically fruitified after Kashmir File was made, and then
Absolutely.
Baramulla was made recently.
Mhm.
So my next dream is to basically have a genocide museum, either
Okay.
in New Delhi, either in Kashmir, or
Or
even
maybe in
abroad.
diaspora itself. Absolutely. Yes. Abroad. Yeah.
So that's my next target. That's my next goal, and
Mhm.
some of our diaspora leaders are also working on it. That's what
Absolutely.
the diaspora has been doing.
And I think Darsa, what you said just now, by no means you just made any ordinary statement. It's a very important statement that you said you want to make a museum or any such things that gives inspiration to our progeny. And I think this your dream of, I mean, let me say this very categorically from this platform, this your dream should not only be your dream, this it should become the dream of all
Absolutely,
7 lakh.
absolutely, absolutely,
and, and we would definitely try, I mean, we will sit with you, we will discuss, and we will want how all of us can contribute towards this, towards your dream of fulfilling. And obviously I echo this sentiment because this dream has been the dream of Panun Kashmir as well. But like you said this again on this platform after so many years, so this gives us fresh energy, new energy. And I would like to thank you for giving this one more probably
goal.
goal to again, right? So Darsab, which was just a quite important question, and you just address is the way you want, but I would like to understand your basically conviction on this. Why no reconciliation with the perpetrators? Because why this question is very very important, because पिछले कुछ सालों से there have been attempts, not just from the people of our community in diaspora, but within country also, who have somehow wanted to have some sort of talks, reconciliations with our perpetrators, right? And there have been repeated calls for reconciliation. Can actually the reconciliation exist without acknowledgement of genocide? I mean, without identification of the perpetrators, without justice to the genocide victims? Why has reconciliation without accountability failed our community? And please sir, आप इसको, क्योंकि I think you are the best voice from the diaspora, who will, जिसको कहते हैं जो दूध का दूध और पानी का पाना पानी करने की क्षमता रखते हैं, तो सर why absolutely no reconciliation with our perpetrators is my next question.
Himala, before we talk about reconciliation,
Yeah.
there are so many things which government of India has to acknowledge and take actions on.
Mhm.
Reconciliation chi path.
Absolutely.
First of all, they tagged us as migrants.
Mhm.
Earlier I said, we are not migrants. We were internally displaced people, IDPs,
Mhm.
which government of India is still denying us.
Yeah, the
So
genocide
first
victim.
of all,
Yeah.
we have to be basically acknowledged
Mhm.
as IDPs.
Right.
That's number one. Our genocide has to be acknowledged not only by the government of India, but
Mhm.
by the Human Rights Watch and the Amnesty International as well.
Mhm. Right.
No genuine reconciliation is possible without truth, accountability, and justice.
Right.
Asking victims to reconcile without acknowledgement of crime is moral inversion. I say it with conviction. Peace cannot be built on denial. We are not pigeons, or we are not ostriches. Basically, we are human beings.
Absolutely.
Istawa uch band kare and believe that nothing happened,
Mhm.
and neither we are Gandhi, whose relevance is no more there. I am a very strong proponent of the fact that we don't need any more Gandhi, particularly
Abs-
for India.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We don't want to be those that मेरे गाल पे कोई थप्पड़ मारे मैं दूसरा गाल दे दूं. नहीं. I may not pick up a gun, but I may have to basically fight for justice.
The self-defense. Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Mhm.
as I said, justice is not vengeance. It is recognition,
Mhm.
responsibility, and safeguard against repetition.
Right.
So, why forget and forgive is dangerous? Forget and forgive transforms the burden of peace onto the victims, no, not on the perpetrators. It enables perpetrators and erases warning signs.
Mhm.
Forgetting is not healing, it is surrender. And do you want to surrender? No, we don't want to surrender. Why should we surrender? History shows that unaddressed crimes repeat themselves.
Absolutely. Very well said. Very well
Memory
said.
is not hatred,
Yeah.
it is prevention.
It's prevention. Yeah.
Even today, when we see basically,
Mhm.
there are so many Kashmirs
Yeah.
around India. Bengal is one Kashmir in the formation. If corrective measures are not taken by the government of India today, I'm with folded hands and with a conviction telling all those government of India leaders, especially our honorable Prime Minister Modi ji,
Yes.
that let us not have more Kashmirs in India.
Absolutely. 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 And then I think you gave it a better term, rather than reconciliation. It is basically a forget and forgive exercise. And why do you think this forgetting and forgiving the perpetrator, who has the blood of our ancestors, not just from like last 36 years, but from relentlessly from 700 years, is dangerous? Why the forget and forgive approach is so dangerous? Because sir, Vidyaji, survivors are often, I mean, survivors, the genocide victims, are often told to forget and forgive for the sake of the peace. Why is this approach morally, I mean, historically dangerous for a genocided community? And how does enforced forgetting become a second act of violence? I, I, I,
See, my point is this.
yeah.
We might be the majority community of India, the Hindus.
Yeah,
But पीस की सलीब हमारे ही कंधे पे क्यों हमेशा रहती है? Why
absolutely.
we have to basically carry the cross of peace always on
On our
our
shoulders.
shoulders?
Absolutely.
Enough is enough.
Yeah,
The world has come to a stage where we need to call a spade a spade. Enough of Ganga Jamni Tazib and enough of Bhaichara. We know who is Bhai and who is Chara.
Uchara, yes, yes. Time has told, yes, taught us. So, sir, so basically, the way, I mean, you have minced no words in calling a spade a spade. So this is something which should be said like it is something like justice versus the false peace. So on one side we have justice, which is the recognition of official recognition of our genocide, Kashmiri Pandit genocide, reparation that we want in vis-a-vis Panun Kashmir, and most importantly the unless our perpetrators are not punished, तो हमारे जो दिवंगत जो इंसिस्टर्स हैं उनकी आत्माओं को तब तक शांति नहीं मिलेगी. So some argue that demanding justice and homeland reopens the old wounds. How do you respond to this claim that seeking justice is an obstacle to peace? This is so disgusting, sir. I don't understand this.
See, we have to first of all understand the fact that justice does not destabilize peace, it sustains it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What destabilizes societies is suppressed justice. Justice denied is justice delayed is justice denied.
Night, yeah,
Calling accountability divisive only delays reckoning. Peace built on silence is temporary. Do we want temporary measures? Do you want a band-aid? We want a we want a surgical strike.
absolutely,
We want a surgery. We want an operation to eradicate the disease.
absolutely,
What government of India, different regimes have been doing for the last 36, 37 years, they have been putting band-aid on it. The power has already gone back to those people who are the perpetrators, basically.
absolutely,
In fact, people like Farooq Abdullah should be basically booked for war crimes.
absolutely. Very well said.
Abdullah family should be basically booked for war crimes.
For our genocide,
He
absolutely.
was he was the one, Farooq Abdullah, and his coterie and his basically his cabal, his
Mhm.
gang, I would say, they
He's
were
gang,
responsible for our genocide.
without any doubt. Absolutely, absolutely. And
It
then,
was his responsibility as a leader to
yeah,
stay there. While what he did, he ran away like a coward. So all what I will say that peace built on justice is more durable, and that's what we are demanding. And demanding justice is not wrong in a democratic setup.
absolutely, sir, absolutely. And I really salute your clarity and the way you have been inspiring an entire generation of Kashmiri Pandit diaspora. Because Yelibu Bozan Chuske, a new youngster, is in the company of Vidya Bhushan Dhar Sahab here in North America. So I think I just tell him one line: "You are in the same hands, buddy." So obviously, I would like to take this flow ahead. And Michu Byak Sawal, which is the identity, because this exile, this just rather genocide induced exile, it is this exile has prolonged it we are in yatis वनांच कशर पट की 36वां निर्वासन संवत. तो यो हमारी identity is our most important weapon. So Dar Sahab, after 35 years, how do you think that this exile has reshaped the Kashmiri Pandit identity, especially amongst the children born here or born abroad or outside of India? So are we are we successful in transmitting that memory, or are we basically facing cultural dilution? So how do you see the situation right
See, first of all, our culture is definitely diluting. We have lost our language. I mean, we may say, for the sake of it,
now?
that we speak Kashmiri. Öçü cenni manan, kashur chunu kara, magar fikr chus taran.
Big issues there. Absolutely.
Is that sustainable model? It's not a
No,
sustainable
it's
model.
not a system. Absolutely.
The newer generation, to put it very coldly, is basically he has moved on
Mhm.
in a way.
Mhm.
So their connection with Kashmir is only through a few rituals, which probably will remain to maybe another couple of generations.
Absolutely.
I'm talking particularly about the diaspora people,
The diaspora,
diaspora children, people who were born abroad.
yeah? Mhm.
What they see basically, we also are basically, the victims of woke culture.
Oh yeah, we are absolutely
So
very well said.
within our community also, we have people who are more concerned about Gaza and
And
Palestine
rather
than
than
what happened to Kashmir and what is still happening in Kashmir.
absolutely,
So our identity, though, survived, but not without cost.
we don't.
We transmitted memory unevenly. Some children absorbed it deeply, others struggled you know, without lived connection
Mhm.
because we are so far away.
That's right.
They basically rub shoulders with mostly non-Kashmiris.
Mm-hmm.
Their workplaces, their schools, their colleges, their universities, they basically meet more non-Kashmiris than Kashmiris.
Then the Kashmiri Pandits. It's
So eventually, we are losing the what we call the plot.
yeah.
Our We don't have basically Kashmiri language. Basically,
Hmm.
it's just a spoken language. Though
Absolutely.
a lot of work has been done by many noted writers, but
Yeah.
has it become Janmanas ki bhasha? It has not.
Mm.
It was killed. I don't know how many of your viewers know
Mhm.
the fact that Kashmir was the only state after independence where
Mhm.
mother tongue was not taught in the schools. It was killed.
Mm. It was killed. Absolutely. Absolutely.
On the same lines as Pakistan,
Mm.
because of a very large nefarious design, Urdu was inflicted on us
Yeah.
in Kashmir. What had Urdu to do with Kashmir?
With our civilization. Absolutely.
Nothing.
Absolutely.
Same like Pakistan had nothing to do with Urdu, where Urdu उनके ऊपर नाफिज की गई, नाजल की गई. They were
Mm.
forced to basically, you know, read and write Urdu. I mean,
Absolutely.
if we see the demographics of Pakistan, it's
Mhm.
either Balochi,
It's Punjabi.
Pashto,
Yeah.
Punjabi,
Absolutely.
Sindhi, Gujarati, and
Correct.
mostly Punjabi.
Mm.
What has Pakistan even today to do with Urdu?
Nothing.
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 But
Absolutely.
because Pakistan was created by a handful of Nawabs
Hmm.
whose language was Urdu, they forced them to basically speak Urdu.
Yeah. Correct.
Now, unfortunately for Pakistanis, their own mother tongues have become basically second or third rate languages.
Absolutely.
And Pakistan regime tried to do the same thing with Bengalis in 1971 and they failed miserably.
Mm-hmm.
And the only survival for language that agitation started. So, what I will say, our children inherited passports, but not homelands. But now, I will say that they also inherit responsibility. The challenge now is to conscious transmission, not
Consciousness.
consumed continuity.
Absolutely.
That's
Very well.
what we have to do.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. That is so brilliantly put, that conscious transmission. And it put to back cheese when you but important darsab ki you spoke, you basically narrated ki how Kashmiri Pandit diaspora, the kids, the Ashwanan, we give this justification to ourselves, probably ki emission koshur taga bolon magar ich koshur haka samjit. And I find this absolutely not any different from how the new generation of Kashmiri Pandits are in India right now. They're all so this is something which is very, even across the globe right now. And this is something, and rightly the way you highlighted this is something we need to basically, we have to preserve kosher zaban pe yes preserve karun, otherwise, like, if our language is gone, so I think the 50% of our claim,
Yeah, that's
it
true.
it, it will be in, like, it will go for a toss. So sir, Buchus Yasan, next question, because these are very important subjects. So use me on next, basically question I say, that would be the continuation of what you where you just left. So generational continuity of the struggle. So we I saw Sir Rakis episode of Spatak youngster, and he spoke brilliantly. He narrated that generational trauma. So generational continuity of the struggle. You say which, do you see a difference between the first generation of the people, the exilees, and the younger diaspora, now the more contemporary diaspora, in engaging with the cause of justice and return? And how can this generational gap basically be bridged?
See, definitely there is a generational gap.
Hmm.
We lived the exile. We lived the
Yeah,
exodus. We lived the
yeah,
forced exodus. We lived the genocide.
yeah,
And we basically lived with those stories which
absolutely,
were not told to the world before movies like Kashmir
absolutely,
File came in or movies like Baramallah came in. So
absolutely.
yes, there is a generation gap, but there is also an opportunity. The
Mhm.
first generation speaks from loss. the younger generation speaks in the language of rights and global norms,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
right? So
Mhm.
the language has changed, but the wound didn't.
Yeah,
So
correct.
as parents, as a young parent like you,
Mhm.
we need to basically narrate the story of our genocide to our younger generation.
Good generation. Absolutely.
As I take the leaf out of the books of the Jews again,
Mhm.
who have narrated the story for 2000 years,
Yes,
we are only in our 36th, 37th year. So like we basically celebrate our Gardabata, our Kechmavas, our Shivratri, our
mhm.
other function, our other
Tradition.
Birdo,
Yeah.
we have to basically make sure that our generation,
Mhm.
they know about what happened to their ancestors, the land of
Abs-
their ancestors.
Absolutely.
The Sharda Desh Kashmir, which was basically the jewel in the crown. I will tell without any making any bones or without mincing words that
Yeah,
Kashmir was the cradle of civilization for India.
absolutely.
Half of the Vedic work was basically written in Kashmir.
In Kashmir.
Whether
Yeah,
it is dramatics, whether it is grammar, whether it is Yoga Sutras, whether it is Patanjali, whether it is Vishnu Sharma's what do you call the works, they
Panchtantra.
all Panchatantra, they all
Yeah,
came from Kashmir.
absolutely. Absolutely.
The only treaties, the historical treaties anywhere in the world came from Kalhana, Jonaraj. So our ancestry, our past is glorified. We have a glorious past, and we should not basically forget it.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, the current generation
Mhm.
is moving away from it. They
Mhm.
don't feel pride in basically what Kashmir and Kashmiri Pandits were basically. What profound contribution they have basically towards the what do you call the civilizational upliftment of India as a whole,
And, and, and
as
sir,
Bharatvarsh.
and sir, just to stop you there for a second, you say Varuna, that the younger generation is not able to connect to that pride, to the glory of the past. Do you think that it's basically on us? It's our basically failure when we
It
do
is.
not transmit.
See, Himalaya, everything has a toll.
Mhm.
After migration,
Mhm.
we were more in a survival mode,
We were, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
We saw our basically and our elders basically withering.
Mhm. Yeah,
My own grandfather, who was a very active person, he used to travel from Karanagar to Broadway, every
Sunday.
day on a bicycle for
Yeah,
work. I mean, he withered within 5 years. My Nanaji, he was a very tall Kashmiri, social activist
absolutely.
and a
Leader,
cultural reformer of his times.
absolutely.
Pandit Premnath Bakshi, who was basically one of the key founders of Vidwa Rakshini way back in Kashmir. He just withered. He just recoiled basically in Jammu, in a rented accommodation, and he passed away within 5 years. So we saw the trauma. We saw our elders withering and dying, prematurely. We saw people getting into a lot of diseases like trauma, depression, diabetes, because of it was a generational trauma.
It was trauma. Yeah, correct.
And we had to basically survive for our children, and we can
Absolutely.
see that, our children did so well.
Mhm.
They blossomed. They whatever opportunity was given to them, basically,
They took it
we
with
we,
both
we
hands.
they took it with both the hands, and
Absolutely.
and and magnified it.
Magnified it. No doubt.
So today, Kashmiri diaspora, I mean, I'm proud to tell people, I mean, who may not be aware of the fact that in India today,
Mhm.
around 14 to 15 universities have their vice chancellors Kashmiri Pandits,
Which is
which is
which
which
is
is
a
which is which is a huge
huge
number
edge. Yeah,
compared
absolutely.
to our very minuscule community.
Community. Yeah. And then I think yes, you just touched upon a very very important subject here. And तो I want to इस पर तो I want to ना कि मतलब this so my our purpose, the purpose of this platform, Panun Kashmir Rehinge, was to why I know, and I want to thank you because I know you have been so busy here in Kashmiri Pandit diaspora, and I mean you just took out this time because this was the reason of you coming here. And probably कुछ सच क्या शिकसा मरा कि the here the diaspora is not in sync with, or probably we are not connected enough to understand what's going on there and what's going on here. So that's why the platforms and episodes like this, they bridge those gap.
Really
So
appreciate it.
I really appreciate, sir. So I would just like, I just have a few more bunch of questions for you. Emotional cost of a lifetime of activism. So you have carried this struggle for over 3 decades. So personally, तू उसका बात कर रहा है, because it's not that कि 92 Vidya Bhushan Dhar Saab comes to Canada and he just, he just settles down and he forgets Kashmir. What instead you have done is that you have carried this struggle for over 3 decades, even wherever you were in diaspora, where you went to different continents, but the pain of Kashmir, the pain of our genocide, it never, I mean, it. So, what has been the personal emotional cost of this sustained activism, and what gives you the strength to continue, sir?
Himalaya, the cost is fatigue, isolation, and unanswered grief. Many times when I basically go with my 84-year-old dad
Mhm,
with the Indian flag in front of the Pakistani consulate to
mhm.
basically oppose what they did in Uri or what they did in
I said
Pulwama or many other places. Sometimes my children or the children of the community,
it.
they said, move ahead, uncle ji, you know, because they don't feel the same pain what I feel as a person.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then the next is basically sometimes the sense of burnout,
Yeah,
because as I said that the community as a whole has
mhm.
moved on.
It has. Yeah.
They enjoy more basically celebrations,
Mhm.
neni baat, dance, you know, but not many people are interested in basically, to Jandatuliyat basically, to raise the voice.
To stand in front
So
of our
sometimes,
purported.
sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes you feel alone.
Oh yeah, you do. Absolutely.
I don't have any bones to tell you something which basically broke my heart recently, Himalay, on this platform.
Yeah.
And I would basically tell it without,
Yeah. Big.
mincing words.
Yeah.
We recently had basically the 350th
Anniversary.
anniversary of the
Guru Tegh
martyrdom of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj.
Ji.
It was basically organized by the Council General of India
Hmm.
and Virasat-e Khalsa. And I had the honor of basically being one of the lone speakers representing Kashmiri Pandits in Canada.
Yes.
It was a great respect which was given
Obviously.
to me
Absolutely.
as a Kashmiri Pandit because it was our story. You'll be shocked, Himalay, and I'm sure that a lot of people who are listening to this and who will be listening it later, there were four Kashmiri Pandits in a gathering of 750 people. And who are those four Kashmiri Pandits? It was my daddy, 84-year-old Pandit Dwarkanath Dar. It was my national school teacher, Pandit Razdan, Maharaj Krishan Razdan. It was Shri M.K. Rana, who is one of the tall figures of Faridabad community, who a lot
Yeah.
of people know.
Yeah.
And it was me. There were four Kashmiri Pandits who basically attended that function. Despite the fact that I requested so many times the
Yeah.
diaspora here, the Kashmiri Pandit community,
To
to
come out.
participate.
Yeah.
But people are busy in their own worlds. People are basically, uh, they have moved on, and that is basically not good
This is not good. Yeah. Exactly.
because we will actually become history.
Yeah.
Nobody will remember basically what happened to us after a
Mhm.
few years.
Absolutely.
So I will say once again that the cause is fatigue, isolation, and unanswered grief. Activism is not a sprint; it's endurance.
It is. Yeah.
We
Absolutely.
did we did a Tiranga Yatra
Hmm.
some 4 or 5 years back when Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji did basically the vaccine Maitri.
Hmm.
We basically had this event in Brampton, which is basically a, a hot
Hot.
belt of
Yeah.
Khalistani activists.
Absolutely. And those are
There
the
were
people.
there were there
Yeah.
were it was a car rally basically
Mhm.
where we had Indian
Yeah.
and Canadian flags on
Mhm.
on both sides of our cars. We had close to 650 cars from of the Hindu community.
Yeah.
And you'll be shocked to know how many Kashmiri Pandits were there. There were two Kashmiri Pandits there, me and my dad.
Yeah.
That
I've
was
seen, I have seen those pictures, and let me tell you, the viewers who have never been to Canada or don't know. So Brampton is, like the Vidyaji, rightly described. It's the hotbed of Khalistani, and imagine Vidya Saab and his father. They are the people carrying the flag of Canada and India there, and they're moving that car. So hats off to your courage, sir. Hats off. That's why
we were attacked. We
yeah,
were attacked. and and the Canadian, the government, police, like the law enforcement
Oh yeah,
forces
yeah.
were silent.
That's right.
So what sustains me, you know, is a duty to memory and
Mhm.
those who didn't survive to speak.
Yeah,
You don't carry the cause carries you.
absolutely. That's not. And
So
with that,
I
yeah,
will basically reverberate in what
yeah.
the great poet, our Pandit Rabindranath Tagore,
Mhm.
he said, tumi ekla chalo re.
Ekla chalo.
So I will say it again with conviction that whether somebody is with me or without me,
Yeah.
or they're not there, I will basically be there with the flag alone. So
Salute to
that's my motto, and
salute to
I
that
I,
spirit,
I
sir.
hope
Yeah,
that this podcast, this
yeah.
this conversation of us basically inspires our youth. We have a lot of youth basically who are coming to Canada now,
We are.
and
Yeah.
I with folded hands tell them that this generation is basically on the path of we are not going to be there for many more years. So it is your duty to take that basically baton and keep our story alive.
And why this conversation is so important. And I will have no doubt to say that this is one of its kind, because even if the people will hear you afterwards once the show is over, one strong message that you have given from this platform today is that truth has to be spoken. So if it was, when we need to come out for our collective cause, if it's only the Vidya Bhushan Dhar standing alone in front of the CN Tower, in iconic CN Tower in Toronto, and carrying the flag of our nation, and calling out a perpetrator. So this is our strength, but we have to multiply. Otherwise, like you said very well, sir, कि अगर हम अपने ही जख्मों को, अपने genocide को भूल गए, तो we are extinct. We are basically we are facilitating the nearing of our extinction every
Exactly.
passing day. Yeah. So, sir, I would like to go ahead with I know I have to be very समय की भी मर्यादा रखनी है, लेकिन because आपके साथ जब conversation होती है, so it's so heartfelt that you don't want to stop. But I'll take few more questions, and then I'll see if viewers have any questions for me. I have been getting these texts, but I was so much engrossed while you were speaking, so I couldn't look at my phone at the same time. But I'll go ahead and I'll ask you my next question is कि जो पावर ऑफ डायस्पोरा है, कश्मीरी पंडित डायस्पोरा का जो पावर है, और जो हमारी मिस्ड अपॉर्चुनिटीज है, so has the Kashmiri Pandit diaspora effectively used its intellectual, its professional, its political capital in the West? What must fundamentally change now? When I say this, what must change is, I don't mean ki anything, the table should change or turn on its heads, but like the things, these discrepancies that you highlighted, ki we have to, be more conscious of our genocide. We have to transmit that exile consciousness into our next generation. So, sir, please tell me what should be the roadmap ahead.
So Himalay, I have to basically tell you this, that one of the key components in basically our kitchen table discussions, or our discussions, is that that we have too many organizations around the world,
Yeah,
whether it is in India or whether it's abroad.
abroad, yeah.
So people are very concerned that "Achi kahan gav rahe ho mujh?"
Mhm.
Everybody is a leader,
Yeah,
but I see a positive side of it.
yeah.
The positive side of it is that that something is happening,
Mhm.
whether it is not basically collectively under one umbrella, which
Mhm.
is very difficult, basically, particularly with intellectuals,
Yeah.
like Kashmiri Pandits, I say it with the gumption,
Yes.
not as sarcasm.
No, let's try this.
So, but the point is, kuch to ho raha hai.
Hmm.
There are so many activities which are happening basically in India. There are
Mhm.
so many activities which are happening globally, in
Yes,
Europe.
in
We
America,
have IAKF in US, we have ICKF in Canada, we
Canada,
have IUKF in Europe.
in
There are
Europe.
so much activities happening in UK basically.
Yeah.
We have tall leaders basically there, like who have raised the flag of of uh, of India and Kashmir and its story.
Mhm.
So I would say the diaspora has immense intellectual and professional capabilities, but politically we are fragmented,
Mhm.
and that needs to be reconciled. We build careers faster than institutions. We are more focused on building careers, and that has now to change, because our new generation is very well settled, well poised. They
Yeah.
are basically educated from some of the finest institutions in the world. They need to take the baton and basically, make it more of a global thing, in terms of basically, as I said, it's not basically an agitation of sorts. It
Mhm.
has to be more arranged, more programmed, and more organized.
Organized. Yeah.
So the next phase must convert success into structured advocacy,
Mhm.
unified platforms, and long-term strategy. That's what I would
Long-term
say.
strategies.
And I'm
Yeah, please.
proud of, like, my son, who's basically settled in New York.
Hmm.
He's very much closely associated with KO USA, the youth wing.
Yeah.
They do a lot of meet and greet programs there. So they have a youth camp coming up. Then we have a camp in there's a lot of activity happening in US. I salute the KO USA there.
Yeah.
They do a lot of things,
Yeah. A
whether
lot
it
of
is
cultural.
political, cultural. They
Absolutely.
raise funds. They do a human's job.
They
The
do.
the, the, the new the new leadership is doing amazing work.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I wish, a similar thing can basically happen in Canada also.
Absolutely. And I'll take that cue from your last word you just said, where you left. You said, "K, the for our generation, or probably the people who are senior to us, when we escaped from Kashmir, so survival was a challenge. But now the new generation, there has to be a slight shift. So the survival is not that a challenge for them what it was for our generation.
Absolutely.
So we have to come together and be more focused, be more ideologically at least united, and understand what is the only viable solution for our community. Because what we need to really learn from the Jews is that even after 1000 years, their clarity and the way they transmitted that
Yeah.
thought, that is something,
See,
sir, I think.
we live in a world of narrative.
Absolutely.
So that's what we have to build. Basically, we lost on the narrative war for many years.
Yeah.
So I would also like to share something with you here. Like,
Sure, please.
I'll be quick because we are
Please, no, no
time
worry, take your
constrained.
time. Take your time, no worries.
Before the world basically came to know about Kashmir, the imbroglio through TV channels in India, there was, I think it started somewhere in 2012,
Mhm.
when people like my guru, Sushil Pandit.
Mhm.
I mean, people like Ambardar Saab, people like Adit Raj Kaul, they took up basically, those people, and confronted their narrative.
Mhm.
I was given this opportunity by one of the tall, stalwart, media persons, Tahir Aslam Gora Saab.
Gora
He
Sahab,
gave
yeah?
me the
Yeah,
opportunity in Canada in 2010.
yeah, definitely.
All that episode, that TV episode on Rawal TV. It was
Yeah.
called Bilal Takal of with
Which
Tahir Gora.
actually went very viral. Yes, everybody
Very
remembers.
viral.
Viral,
It
yeah.
rattled, it rattled forces like
Oh yeah,
Pakistani cult.
definitely. And it is it was, yeah. I think it shook the ISI from,
The
yeah.
promoters, the promoters were forced to take it off air. That was the
Absolutely.
kind of influence they had.
Yeah.
We had to take up the matter with the government of Canada here to
Mm,
basically bring it back.
absolutely.
So that activism basically is still there. I have my own TV channel here, which I basically do from time to time. I had Sushilji basically on that show once. I
Yeah,
had
I
I had
remember.
I have one of the founders of JKL of
Oh yeah.
Farooq Siddiqui on that show.
Mm,
So it's called it's called uh, it's a show basically, on TV, which is basically the tag TV.
mm.
It's very much there, and I do a lot of shows on that. It's called Tagline with Vidya Bhushan Dhar.
Absolutely. And एक चीज तो विद्या जी आपके साथ crystal clear है जो भी आज मुझे इंडिया से सुन रहा है because it's night time there and people are still glued like anything. You won't believe how many viewership we have right now, and the people are still, they don't know कि विद्या भूषण धर जो आज हमारे साथ इस एपिसोड में है, he is somebody, he is basically a one man army in Kashmiri Pandit diaspora. And I'll have absolutely no hesitation in saying that. So whether that show you mentioned, which rattled the establishment, the deep state of Pakistan, and they had to stop. So this is our power. This is the power of a ordinary Kashmiri Pandit activist who just has that clarity, and who has that that strength of speaking the truth. This is basically the power of truth, sir. और मैं एक और चीज आपसे ये भी पूछना चाहता हूँ कि when I have been, interacting with some elements of Kashmiri Muslim diaspora, in North America. And Tim Chavanan, they, आप हमारे भाई हो, that rhetoric, that false rhetoric, तो आप हमारे भाई हो, you come back, we love you, and all that stuff.
Individually,
But
yes. Even
but
I
you,
have got like, so
yeah,
many friends like that.
but
Individually,
they say it,
but collectively, they are a mob.
but when they say this thing, this is when it, rings my. They say, but ये पनुन कश्मीर मत मांगते हो, ये पनुन कश्मीर, ये इजराइल मॉडल मत मांगते हो. So when your perpetrator is asking you to not to do so
That means that means they're rattled.
they're
As simple
rattled.
as that.
And तो इस पर we conclude. And honestly, Vidya ji, this show should go on for hours, because the depth of knowledge, the amount of activism you have done. So this, honestly, episode doesn't do justice to that. But मेरे समय की भी एक सीमा है. लेकिन मैं आपको definitely, the concluding question, the very important, is the road ahead. And when a person like Vidya Bhushan Dhar speaks on that, so people listen to it very keenly. So after the so many decades of this genocide induced exile, what is your message to the Kashmiri Pandit diaspora, especially the youth, about memory, justice, and why Panun Kashmir is the only idea and return, viable solution for return and rehabilitation of Kashmiri Pandits?
Himalay, as you yourself said,
Mhm.
that the way go ahead is basically youth.
Yeah,
Only they can basically take this message forward. Only they
absolutely.
can basically tell and retell the story of Kashmiri genocide.
Mhm.
So remember that memory is responsibility.
Mhm.
It's not a burden.
Yeah,
Justice is not hatred, and return is not nostalgia. It is dignity.
right.
Remembering is not living in the past, it's protecting the future. That's what I have to basically tell the youth. That's what I have to tell basically people of my generation, that we have achieved our financial stability. We have achieved success in terms of materiality,
Mhm.
but there is time to basically give something back to our ancestors, to give something back to our those ancestors who stood fast and stood basically for the restoration of Tilak and Janev.
And Vidya sir, if you don't mind, can I take two quick questions for the audience?
Sure.
Because you know what, it would be really injustice to them, because they have been texting me all these questions. So I'll because I have around 15 to 20 questions, but I'll only take two. One is from Shri Ravinder Gurtuji, who has asked this question. So he says, so I'm going to quote him. He says, my question to Dar Saab, and thank you for the backend team for putting it up on the screen as well. So, the Ravinder ji Prasan, my question to Dar Saab is that some people talk about the reversal of genocide, then aren't they indirectly opposing the idea of Panu Kashmir, because that is not what is mentioned in the Marg resolution. So before you answer him, so reversal of genocide is the literal meaning of genocide. So that is going back to 1339, because the crime cannot be reversed. जिनको मारा गया उन्हें जिंदा नहीं किया जा सकता. So he's asking in that regard this question, right?
So the point is, जिनको मारा गया उनको जिंदा नहीं किया जा सकता, but आगे इसको रोका जा सकता है.
Absolutely,
Basically,
absolutely.
having a problem in Kashmir doesn't mean that it's limited to Kashmir only.
Mhm.
We have Kashmirs brewing all over country. So if we basically put a plug, like, I mean, if you remember in the past,
Yeah,
Aurangzeb started conversion, proselytization from Kashmir. Why?
true. Yeah.
Because Kashmir was the seat of learning. Kashmir was the epitome of Brahmanata. Kashmir was the epitome of literature. So he started from there. So if we start plugging those weaker points from Kashmir, we
Yeah.
will have no more Kashmir like situations in other parts of the country.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then other question I would like to take is from I think it's Nitin Dar, and Nitin Dar is asking to Vidya ji. And if I can request my backend team to put this question also up on the screen. So Nitin Dar is asking this question, and he is specifically asking, while diaspora has done a lot assisting the community, and yeah, exactly, so I have the question right in front of the screen now. So he's asking, while diaspora has done a lot assisting the community in critical needs like education, like healthcare, blah blah blah, so is there more scope to garner political assertion, especially with respect to mobilizing more support for the just demand of Panan Kashmir?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Advocacy is the name of the game, basically. Our people are already now placed in very key positions around the world. Our Kashmiri youth.
Yeah,
We have a lot of work being happening basically in UK,
right.
where our activists basically have helped us basically get MPs like Bob Blackman, who has
Right.
basically spoken in our favor.
Yes, absolutely.
In Canada, we have basically two MPPs who have basically acknowledged the genocide of Kashmiri Pandits
Yeah.
in on their official literature
Yes.
letterhead. So
Yes.
I mean, these kind of activities, we need more of these activities. We need more MPs and MPPs around the world, more legislatures, particularly in the United States of America, to acknowledge our genocide.
Correct, sir.
So with
Absolutely.
these collective efforts, we can definitely make the difference. And the dream, see, government of India is basically still tilted towards what we call the appeasement policy.
The episode board. Absolutely.
It has changed 180 degrees, but not completely. They're
Completely.
still basically, as the biggest example is that the power in Kashmir has gone back to the same perpetrators who are responsible for
Absolutely.
the genocide.
That is the most important point you
It
made.
has to change.
Absolutely.
So one of the things which I always been basically advocating,
Right.
demographic change
Mhm.
is a must.
Right.
What
Absolutely.
has happened in Kashmir after the removal of Article 370 is basically what we call a dressing on the wound.
Absolutely.
It's basically, it's just optics. Nothing much has happened in the last 5 6 years since the Article 370 was removed. We want a complete, what we call, the the amalgamation of Kashmir with the rest of India. It's not a complete amalgamation still. So
Absolutely.
until and unless there are demographic changes in Kashmir, we cannot basically expect things to come to the normalcy. Once there are demographic changes in Kashmir, we might basically think of going back to Kashmir one day.
Absolutely. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. And secondly, every every Indian, every har koi, we have, Kashmiri Pandits have always welcomed the government's move to abrogate 370 and 35A. But
We are law abiding citizens of India. We
but
we are not we are not anybody, anyone like who will pick up guns
who's a,
basically. But there has to be a limit.
there has to be a limit.
Is government of India basically
Yeah, please go
pushing us to the wall
ahead.
that there will be a time when some youth will pick up guns? And I warn government of India
Hmm.
on clear terms that when an intellectual community like Kashmiri Pandits pick up guns, it will be very
Yeah,
decisive.
absolutely, absolutely.
Don't basically let us
We push to that point.
push to that point.
Yeah,
It's like what Dinkar had once said कि अब याचना नहीं अब रन होगा. We have basically been very you know uh, accommodative in the last 35 37 years, that we have basically tried to get things reconciled for us in a very democratic, in a very legal setup.
right.
But don't push us to the wall that we also basically go to
Yeah.
the extreme measures.
Absolutely. So, point is, sir, that Kashmiri Pandits have been always appreciative of the current dispensation at center in India. But the thing is, this is a very important thing that every Kashmiri Pandit thinks that the current government in India has not delivered when it comes to the justice towards the Kashmiri Pandits, and specifically.
They have opened the doors, but nothing beyond that.
Yeah, so basically, the problem is that this mindset, this policy of dealing the genocidal, induced terrorism in Kashmir with tourism is something which will definitely,
Those are optics.
absolutely. So, sir,
Tourism and terrorism cannot go side by side. Like
economic-
Modi ji said that blood and water will not flow at the same time. So similarly, tourism and terrorism will not flow at the same time.
absolutely, sir. Absolutely. And Vidyaji, it has been my honor. It has been my pleasure, and it has been a great respect that you came to our platform and आपने अपनी हर कोई बात इतनी बेबाकी से कही without mincing any words. And I would definitely look forward to inviting you more and more often on this platform so that we get enlightened. We understand the diaspora's perspective. We understand how diaspora has been contributing, where are the gaps, where we can improve, and how we can move, shana bashana, hand in hand, and how we can basically achieve this goal of official recognition of our genocide, getting our perpetrators punished, getting justice for our victims, and eventually the reparation, the Panun Kashmir part, because unless the land is not under our feet. So, we are running out of time. So, Vidyaji, thank you so much once again. And I really am so proud of what you just narrated, how you told how you have been the major source of contribution towards the Kashmiri Pandit diaspora. You know, thank you so much once again. And
Mona,
I would,
thank you so much. I want to basically thank your team, your creative heads, and all the technical team for this wonderful opportunity for me to speak on this platform. And this is the narrative we need to build. We need to have
absolutely,
more programs, more content like this,
absolutely,
in probably in different languages as well, so that the whole world basically knows what
no,
happened
sir.
in Kashmir. So
Absolutely,
I conclude this show with the couplet that Aschu Tarun Kashmir az paga suli
that's
cheer. Asila ye sazan zir Aschu Tarun Kashmir az paga suli cheer. Namaskar.
thank you, Orzu sir, Orzu sir. And I would like to do one more announcement for to the tomorrow's episode. So tomorrow's episode is going to be one of its kind. And why I say this, because today you heard the senior most voices of the Kashmiri Pandit diaspora, and I'll take you back to 1990s. I'll take you back to the 1990s when we had leaders in camps, in Muthi camps, the leaders of the Muthi camp, the leader of those the Butterwalia, the Purkhu. So tomorrow on our show there is somebody whom we called Bhushan Lal ji. So Bhushan Lal Bhatt Sahab, uh, who did a lot of service to our brothers in camps, and especially the Batal Balia camp. And I would have this honor to host him tomorrow. So I would request everybody to please again tune in tomorrow, same time. With you, Ijazat. Namaskar. Jai Panan Kashmir.